things you didn't know about Melania. In Slovenia, I was a catalog model, which is what you call a model you order out of a catalog. I have no first language. I hope I inspire little girls everywhere to marry for money. Well, to those on the right who keep asking me, Bill, you're so good at roasting the woke nonsense peddlers, why don't you go all the way and join us? Let me give you the short answer. Because I don't want to live in North Korea. Kim Jong-un has state stenographers who follow him everywhere and scribble his genius ideas into their notebooks and applaud. Well, Republicans, that's you now. Republican Congressman Addison McDowell wants to name Dulles Airport after Trump. It'll be like other airports, except the international terminal only has departures.
Donald Trump's presidency keeps proving that reality really can outdo fiction, and Melania's blank expression might just be the perfect mood of the entire nation. The White House under Trump feels less like a seat of power and more like a traveling circus where chaos takes the spotlight and logic never even gets an invite. Bill Maher doesn't just roast the madness, he dissects it. Like a surgeon who's had enough of pretending things make sense. With sharp wit and brutal honesty, he tears through Trump's theatrics and Melania's icy silence, turning it all into a dark political comedy so absurd that even Hollywood couldn't have written it better.
Yeah, border wall. You know the border wall that Trump built there or whatever. I don't know, but there's some of it there. And you know how things get hotter when they're black. You know, that's why people wear white in the summer. So, well, he's going to paint it black. And Benjamin Moore is going to pay for it. He's painting the border wall black, so it's harder to get on. Wow. And finally, new rule, Melania Trump must do what dozens of buildings around the world have done and take the Trump name off. So far, over a dozen Republican candidates tried to stop Trump and couldn't. Hillary couldn't. Never Trumpers couldn't. Mueller couldn't. Is there anyone left who can check Donald Trump? Yes, Melania.
Bill. Maher kicks things off by going straight for Trump's obsession with grandiosity. The man who treats every podium like it's his personal stage at a beauty pageant, where he's both the host and the contestant. It's like he wakes up every morning, looks in the mirror, and declares himself the hero and the headline. Maher doesn't just mock that ego. He dismantles it piece by piece, showing how every so-called policy is just another act in Trump's never-ending show. Laws sound like ad campaigns, executive orders read like clickbait, and every big announcement feels like it needs a laugh track. The show never stops because Trump keeps churning out new episodes of chaos. One day it's a rally that feels like a fever dream, and the next it's a policy clearly inspired by something he half heard on cable news between commercials for diet pills and gold coins.
Just going to close down the shit they wanted to close down anyway. I look at the list of government offices, departments that are affecting this the most. Yeah. EPA, they closed down like 89% of the EPA. Now there's no more money. If the economy goes in the shitter, he's going to say, well, the Democrats closed down the government. That's what did it. It was all going fine until then. Yeah.
And then there's Melania, the world's most reluctant supporting character, standing beside the chaos like someone who accidentally wandered onto the wrong movie set and decided to stay silent just to make it out alive. Maher tears into her signature detachment, that icy calm that makes you wonder if she's a secret mastermind playing the longest game in history or just a hostage expressing rebellion through fashion choices. Every time she appears in public, it feels less like a loving partnership and more like a business deal signed under emotional duress. She smiles like it's written into her contract, waves like it's part of her civic duty, and vanishes faster than a bad Wi-Fi signal whenever a new scandal breaks.
Every time I look at my husband, I'm reminded of the Slovenian national dish. a fat, greasy sausage filled with cheese. I once caught Mike Pence trying on my stilettos. Well, my Secret Service codename is that poor woman.
Maher doesn't miss a beat when it comes to highlighting the contrast between Trump's loud, relentless self-love and Melania's even louder silence. He jokes that together they're the perfect American metaphor, pure noise and complete emptiness, ego and apathy. all wrapped up in designer packaging. While Trump fires off tweets like he's being paid per punctuation mark, Melania releases carefully worded statements that sound like they were written by an overworked PR intern counting down the days to vacation. It's not just a marriage, Maher says. It's a luxury franchise built entirely on denial, ego, and high heels.
This week, what I kept thinking was, it all comes down to this case of narcissistic personality disorder. We've all talked about it since you've been on the public scene. But we see it in real time. Somebody really unraveling, spiraling toward madness.
So I'm an asshole? Is that what you're trying to say?
No. We're talking
you're not talking about
The hypocrisy, Maher points out, is almost a work of art. Trump talks about defending American values while embodying absolutely none of them, preaching morality from a stage built on moral bankruptcy. He's turned patriotism into a business model, wrapping himself in the flag while selling slices of it on his campaign website. Maher finds the comedy in that contradiction. How a man who once struggled to spell unprecedented now runs the country like it's just another product line. He compares Trump's presidency to a reboot nobody asked for, directed by people who clearly never bothered to read the script.
Trump is at the UN, and we completely did a 180 on Ukraine. Okay, flexibility is good, but, it is kind of amazing. I mean, for the longest time, he was like, oh, but let's just give Putin everything he wants. I know how to end this war. Surrender. Surrender, Ukraine. Now, this week, he said, is his quote, after getting to know and fully understand the Ukraine-Russia military and economic situation, I think Ukraine, with the support of the European Union, is in a position to fight and win. After getting to know and fully understand.
Meanwhile, Maher gleefully takes apart the myth of Melania as this mysterious, misunderstood enigma. He calls her the quiet co-star of a political soap opera, always present, rarely speaking, and occasionally dropping cryptic fashion choices that send the internet into conspiracy overdrive. That infamous jacket? Maher laughs and says it wasn't a statement, it was a summary. Every move she makes feels like a sub-tweet stitched into designer fabric, a silent protest disguised as couture. Her speeches are rarer than her smiles. And both, Maher notes, feel just as rehearsed.
Disorder, like when like I was saying before, his personal cabinet now has turned on him. Mm-hmm. The person with this disorder is never going to go, maybe it's me.
No, of course not.
You
want to see something interesting. Everybody is saying, well, not everybody's saying. I sound like Trump now. Everybody's saying. Everybody's saying. Go down here saying.
Maher's sharpest shots land when he goes after Trump's obsession with appearances. For Trump, it's never about the message. It's about the image, the crowd size, the applause, the photo op. The man could literally announce world peace and still pause to ask if the lighting made him look more presidential. Maher paints the picture so clearly. Trump standing on the White House lawn, soaking in applause he probably imagined while Melania stares off into the distance, silently wondering if anyone else sees the absurdity of it all. The president craves validation like it's air, and when he doesn't get it, he manufactures it with the desperate creativity of a kid faking straight A's.
Didn't go MAGA. And to the president's credit, there was no pressure to. A crazy person doesn't live in the White House. A person who plays a crazy person on TV a lot lives there, which I know is f***ed up. It's just not as f***ed up as I thought it was. The guy I met is not the person who the night before the dinner shit-tweeted a bunch of nasty crap about how he thought this dinner was a bad idea and what a deranged asshole I was.
Maher turns that dynamic into a perfect metaphor for the entire administration. Loud, hollow, and endlessly pretending everything's fine. From there, he dives into the policy chaos, comparing Trump's governing style to juggling chainsaws while blindfolded. One week, it's a self-declared historic success on Twitter. The next, it's a full-blown denial of obvious failure. Maher ridicules the contradictions. How Trump can claim victory and assign blame in the same breath. It's like a chef burning dinner, blaming the stove, and then demanding a 5-star Yelp review. The absurdity practically writes itself, and Maher thrives on it, painting Trump's team as a chorus of yes men performing synchronized spin routines just to keep the illusion alive.
And finally, new rule, if Donald Trump is looking for a legacy, don't buy Greenland, save Greenland. That should be your legacy, Mr. President. And I'll tell you something else. If you get religion on global warming and become the greatest echo warrior we've ever had in politics, I'll vote for you.
Maher says Trump's speeches sound like karaoke with no lyrics. Loud, aimless, and strangely confident. They play out like motivational rants written by autocorrect, packed with half-finished thoughts and an endless supply of tremendous, incredible, and the best ever. Every sentence races toward nonsense, but somehow never quite finishes the lap. Maher uses that absurd rhythm to reveal something darker. The confusion isn't a mistake in Trump's leadership, it's the entire strategy. The more off-balance people feel, the easier it is for him to sell the illusion that he's in control.
There, that guy wasn't living there. Now, does Trump want respect? Of course, who doesn't? My friend said to me, "What are you going to wear to the White House?" I said, "I don't know, but I'm not going to dress like Zelensky, I'll tell you that." Just for starters, he laughs. I'd never seen him laugh in public, but he does, including at himself. And it's not fake. Believe me, as a comedian of 40 years, I know a fake laugh when I...
From policy blunders to public meltdowns, Maher turns every misstep into a masterclass in dark comedy. He mocks Trump's selective memory, his ever-shifting stories, his endless need to be adored, not just for laughs, but to dissect what's underneath it all. His humor cuts like a scalpel, exposing the rot beneath the showmanship. And as each scandal piles on the next, Maher points out the truly terrifying part, how easily the nation adapts. Outrage fades, absurdity becomes routine, and laughter, once rebellion, quietly transforms into the only way to cope.
Melania, the world needs you. President Hellboy has proved to be impervious to facts, reason, shame, and the law. But maybe if you left him for another man, especially if that man was Mexican.
In the end, Maher's takedown of Trump and Melania isn't driven by cruelty. It's powered by clarity. Through laughter, he exposes the machinery of ego, the emptiness behind the image, and the fragility of power built entirely on performance. The jokes land because the truth beneath them is impossible to miss. A leader consumed by vanity, a spouse trapped in quiet detachment, and a nation stuck watching their theater unfold. The audience laughs, but it's an uneasy kind of laughter, the kind that comes when you realize the joke isn't really a joke at all.
We don't like you. I had my staff collect and print out this list of almost 60 different insulting epithets that the president has said about me. I brought this to the White House because I wanted him to sign it, which he did. That's my report. You can hate me for it, but I'm not a liar. Trump was gracious and measured, and why he isn't that...
Trump's presidency keeps rolling, Melania maintains her quiet elegance, and the circus spins on like a show that forgot to pack up the tent. But thanks to Maher, the illusion of meaning has finally burned off. He's stripped away the glitter and showmanship, exposing the chaos, contradictions, and confusion holding the entire production together. What once passed for leadership now feels like improv with no direction. A national sitcom running entirely on ego and applause.